that early. It's like 8 something in the morning for me. And I'm a consultant as a curriculum developer at Deep Learning AI. I hope you already know about our courses. I mostly work with a team for the short courses, and that's super exciting to get to know what's everything coming up with the new AI tools, agentic, and well, open source, right? You can find me on social media as Leslie Sandra, and let's get started. I want to share with you what I have been working with Gemma and how you can start it too. Would you let me know if it's okay? Can you hear me? And the slide is shown? Yeah. Oh, buenos dias. Thank you, Connie.
Everything
Yeah.
perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. So, I want to talk a little bit about Gemma that I know you have already heard, but we'll compare a little bit with the cloud versus local models, and I'll share with you my case study, which is this project I've called Socratic Study Buddy with Gemma 4, and I'll share with you some tips how to replicate it. Um, we'll take a look ahead, okay? And I'm very excited about this last point because this week I've been to a Python Day conference here in Chile, and I had the chance to talk about another project I'm working on, which is related to use local these local AI models with the agents using ADK. So we'll talk about that later. So we already know how it's been going, and we've been chatting a lot with our powerful AI models, right? Starting from the prompt and getting the completion or the response. And that has been growing a lot because we want to go beyond text. We want to go beyond multimedia. We have multimodal. We want to go beyond question answer, and we are heading to these agentic systems which will let you build and do stuff, not only reply, answer, think the response, but actually to do stuff, right? So that's very interesting. And I want to go beyond all models we can work with in cloud to some local models, which is really exciting for me, because I can have more agency of what I'm working on, what I'm building, and specifically if you're working with the sensitive private data, right? So that's some important stuff here. So, um, I just checked yesterday, the day before yesterday, Gemma has complete the 1 billion downloads. So that's really cool. And I want to share with you this first resource, which is on DeepMind. A tip from Google. DeepMind has been working a lot with Gemma. So give it a try. Try to check. I know most of you, I've been checking the comments, may have been working through Hugging Face, for example, which is cool. Um, but also, if you want to get to know how this model is working, what the updates are from Gemma 2, 3, 4 that we have now, what can you build, this is the place where you can find all this information. And mostly, what I'm super excited is the Gemmaverse, where actually we can find a lot of projects from people around the world that have been building with AI. And I've been myself very inspired with democratizing education, and that's why I started building these kind of experiments and projects with using Gemma in order to have this access to places where you don't have maybe much internet connection, and also these powerful computers to do something. That's why I've been iterating a little bit with some projects for academics, mostly for teaching, on Gemma 2 using just my laptop. And this other project I've been testing for myself is on Gemma 4. Yeah, it's like different flavors for different needs. But I will totally recommend this website where you can find all these different projects, for example. It's really cool. It was last year, the year before, when we had the developer keynote at Google I/O in May, they were talking specifically about Gemma, and actually we have they have this presentation about dolphin Gemma that I was like, what are they talking about? It's really cool collecting data and samples about dolphins communication and how this can be trained into a model to get a vocabulary and technically, well, visualize alpha dolphin sounds, but also get to the research community, how they are communicated, and trying to understand more, a little bit more about this kind of life. So here, as I show, you have oops, I want to see, well, this is just the video that you can check later on, and it's really cool, right, to try to understand other languages. And I know it's still research, but also that inspired me to what kind of projects I wanted to build with what kind of technology, and now how all these Gen AI tools would allow us actually to try to build it, right? So it's really cool, and I hope you get a chance to try by yourself. Yeah, this is the open model, and how you can start it. As some of you mentioned, you can just download it and start running on your machine. This may need some steps that I can show you later, but it's really cool. Even if you just download the model and you use Olama or LM Studio, for example, you can start chatting with the model because this has been already trained, and that's really cool. And you can start asking these questions, right? And then you can start building as another model. Something that really interests me with the Gemma 4 model is related to this change of reasoning, or a step-by-step reasoning, which I found super cool in sense of how this will help me on education, the kind of projects I want to build, because I know, and I've been using some GPTs, for example, from ChatGPT, where you are prompting, or you have this system prompt specifically for if a student asks you a question for addition or subtractions or something, how don't reply exactly the answer, but help them think, right? And has been really cool, and I feel like this idea of change of reasoning has extended a lot that idea as well. Yeah, so I'll show a little bit on that. On this latest version on Gemma, which is also really cool, it is cool actually to have the working with text, images, audio, depending on the kind of model you will be using. Because I feel like last year we have been into, oh yeah, open models are okay, but they're still text to text, and we might not use them much even for coding or other stuff. But actually, these latest models are going awesome on that. Yeah, so as I mentioned, it's really cool to test with all these different versions. I really been having a lot of fun, even crashing my computer, because I know local models have a lot of advantages, but also constraints in the ways like how much RAM you have and storage, and how will that support your model running in your computer while you have 100 tabs in Google Chrome, right? That was one of my first crash, like trying to chat with the model and adjusting to the endpoints, and then crashing because my computer. But still, I think is cool to try to see the projects or the use cases for this kind of models, even with limited resources in hardware, because that's also lets you go farther with the democratization education, which is what I'm looking for, right? So cool, let's move on. Oops, okay. What do we have here? We have different models. Uh, we have different versions, different sizes, I should say, from Gemma 4. It is a little bit like picking your brain. And as I mentioned, you need to be aware of the kind of project you want to build, the kind of hardware you have. Now with Gemma 4, we have like different flavors, which is like the effective 2B, which is gonna be super fast, can work on phones, on laptops, which is working really good actually. We have one step up, which is a good fit for modern laptops. We work with image and video, and then we have a bit more sophisticated in terms of being fast and powerful. Just check the number of parameters you'll be using, and then which is called the Gemma 4 flagship, which is the smartest model in the family. This is really cool. However, check your hardware if you're also wanting to run it locally. But some colleagues of mine, even at job or at academia, they have been reusing, older laptop, older PCs or computers that they just adjust to have more RAM or just to have more storage in terms of being a sort of server having running Gemma. And I know some friends are using to do, I don't know, financial calculations, plans. So you don't have all this personal private data going to internet, for example, but you have them locally. And I think it's a really cool experiment. I haven't tried myself with a kind of server, but yeah, I'm trying to play a little bit with the laptop, so try to have some models running, having idea of those constraints, and anyway, trying to make it to work. So it's really cool. Yeah, I've been talking a lot about that and why running, and I'm pretty sure you have been hearing about this actually. And we have talked a lot about privacy, and I heard last year, it was December, late December, that Andrew Inge and Lawrence Moroni, they have like a class, like presentation in Stanford, and they are mentioning about these, expectations for Gen AI for 2026 and so. And I was really inspired and challenged to start testing with local models, because also in that presentation they mentioned about, we have powerful models, but also companies want privacy, for example. It might turn, or it will turn like a good skill, like a good idea to have the skill of learning how to fine tune, how to use local models, how to have all in mind all these constraints related to privacy and so on. So I think we are already agree about this benefit of running on a your low machine, and of course the cost. I'm very fan of cloud models. I have to say, I use a lot of Gemma, I use a lot of Gemini and Cloud mostly, but I know it has a cost, right? Even beyond the subscription and using a chat. If you want to involve in your projects, you need to be very aware of the cost of tokens and calls and the billings, and yeah. And I won't say like all these local models are totally free, but because you need to have all this hardware, as I mentioned, and stuff. But later on, I feel free to use it more and to train it as a way I need to give it the data I should use, because cost won't have that constraint, on the tokens and so. And that takes you to this other point, which is actually to have the sort of full control, and that's really cool. If you also see it from the view on responsible building AI, because you can be aware of what can go wrong and fix it. But at the same time, you can see like, okay, why did it go wrong, and how we can research and fix it, and open these black boxes somehow. And yeah, so I think that's really cool on this point, and that's why I became kind of fun to start testing some projects. I've been using Gemma to start teaching some main concepts on these on these topics, concepts such as token, context windows, and that has been a really fun experiment because I've been using Olama. Maybe you have heard about it, and you can have like running your model and use it from another software. Coding, sorry, code. I've been testing this use of window, how to say, like this memory, how it will grow and stuff. And yeah, on a laptop also it takes a lot of time, but it's a really good approach to actually see and understand what's really happening with these large language models. Because if I would like to test more about these context windows, tokens, and so I can do it with all models, but still we say like, oh, because this is running on cloud or something. But it's really cool to also experiment on local, and that's where I found some colleagues in academia that are like also using at university all these old PCs and having running different open source models, for example, and trying to give this access to the students now. So I think it's really cool. Yeah, let's move on. Just a quick review into what is cloud versus local models, and I found it super funny. These images, of course, are AI generated, but I want to capture in one image the why is it like, or how it looks like, the AI models and local models. Sorry, the AI models in cloud and the AI models in local. And I believe I was doing something with some infographics before, but it just gave me a lot of stuff. And I was like, I just want a kind of small image, icon, whatever. But still, I think this can work. I could do better, of course, prompting. But yeah, at the end, it was like, oh, this is really cool. Although I think this is a duplicated icon there. But what I want to recall is like, what is the difference between these two related to data, cost when you are talking about tokens, safety and privacy, as we just mentioned, and the need of connection. And I remember when I started testing this Gemma and I was checking other events, presentations, it was really fun. People saying like, oh yeah, I want to use Gemma in my laptop because I want to keep working even if I'm offline in an airplane. And I was like, oh, that can be a use case. And actually, the project I was working on was also like, oh, I can, go offline and just have my Socratic Study Buddy, which will help me study with no distraction. So I think the no internet connection is something cool to explore on there. And yeah, let's talk about this project now. So I have a repo that I will share with you. And sorry, it's mostly in Spanish, and I will think a lot to have both versions. But I'll tell you what is this. So I've been using a Streamlit to have it as an interface that's in the code itself. And this is running 100% locally. Sorry, I won't be able to show you here. It was also on technical things like too heavy for starting running, but I'll give you the hints and insights. I'm using Gemma for model. I'm using LM Studio. You may have heard about it. It's really cool. It has for different operating systems and different series, of course, and you can just download it, and there you'll start. I'll see if it's here. And there you will start exploring actually how to look for models. Let me see if I be able to check it here so I would be able to show you. But what is this project going on? What is working? So the idea, as I was telling you a little bit earlier, is to have this kind of study buddy in terms of I need to recall some concepts, but I don't really want to go, into just having an answer. And I think that makes sense in terms of a lot of people just say, oh, yeah, AI is replying everything to you. You are not even thinking, and you are not even, how to say, understanding this kind of question answer, right? So I just found it interesting, like, I can ask questions that I need some answers, of course, but instead of having just a response, I will get an answer that helps me to think about these projects. And I think that that will be really, really useful on the way how we are approaching into this new Gen AI era to start working on, right? So that's something. And I want to share with you a little bit about how the prompt looks like. So I'm just not on the prompt and interaction. Just don't go like, oops, give me the answer for this exercise, like something I just need to reply and soon. But actually, to have this Gemma for think that is saying, like you are an expert tutor and you are forbidden to give the final answer. Use internal reasoning to identify the core concept. The student is stuck and ask a guiding question. And that makes a lot of sense when I'm saying, like, teach you to think, right? So I think that's really useful. And how this thinking actually works? Well, the idea is uh, on this diagram. The student will ask question. I need help. I need to understand recursion. I need to understand something. Then remember the model has this prompt as kind of system prompt. So then the model will get the question, will kind of think and resonate on that question, on the constraint on this prompt, then we'll identify what are the missing concepts and reply with a guiding question, also including some sort of diagram, and then we can have the reply, okay? And if the answer is okay, is correct, the tutor will move to the next step. If not, they will try to find the analogy. Something I've been really curious about how to optimize this in terms of interaction with the students is also how we can use these diagrams. Let me see if I can translate to English. No, I did nothing, sorry. And yeah, why doesn't let, yeah? Ah, sorry. Okay, and I have this diagram with Mermaid.js, and this kind of the idea to follow, right? So asking a question, model thinks, identifies, the student responds. Okay, let's go to the next one, simplify the analogy. I think on education and even in our own learning, diagrams are super useful when you are trying to recall different concepts or trying to remember, ¿verdad? How one concept was connected to the other, or what are the examples on that way, right? So yeah, for example, I would say like, tell me about recursion and so the reply from this tutor would be like, oh, let's understand recursion. We need the first case. If you were standing in the light of people, how would you like, your position without counting everyone? And like, kind of these challenges where you can actually start thinking differently, how to respond to that questions and to relate it. So I found it really cool. And how can you run it in your laptop? I have now 11 Studio. So I would suggest to download LM Studio, as I was showing here, search for Gemma 4, pick a one of the model depending on your hardware, and also try to check some quantizations. Let me share with you. Yay, I have it here. I try to move on this. Where are you? Yes. So welcome to LM Studio. Can you see it? Oops. Can you see it now? Yeah, perfect. So this is this is the interface. Right? You have here some parameters you can check. Here, the parameters, presets, and what I'm asking you is to check for these models, and you have a lot of open models, so don't be constrained to a specific one. And here we have Gemma 4, for example, right? That's why I was using this other one, Olama, to work with Gemma 2. But check, we have vision, we have tool use, we have reasoning, and yeah, it's a bit large to download. And same here, I believe this is the one I was downloading, yeah. And I will use all my computer sources. This is the idea, this is the architectural advantages that you can find, and also how can you call the model. So I think this is really cool in how to start working, and it's nice. The platform will also guide you how to find your best way. And as I mentioned, if I want to try the model, I can just ask. I can just try like a new chat here, and I was asking, right, like in another version. This is my historial with Gemmas. Who are you? What do you do? And the explanation. I'm Gemma, large language model. Yeah, also wanna test how is it going with the Spanish. I wanna to create a coding with the I don't know if you ever had this exercise when learning to code. Like you need to build a function or the coding to perform divisions, like 10 divided by 5, whatever. But do this logic only with subtractions. And I feel it's really fun exercise because it makes you think how will you achieve division with only subtractions. And I got a response. It was really nice, and I really like. Actually, it also is it's commenting. It's really well structured in Spanish, and it's even giving me an explanation what's going on. Yeah. Something important here is the local server. So actually, you can come here and, for example, well, you see, server is not running. So I will just load the model. I have this downloaded, and I can choose one of the models. You see, it will start like loading here. And if you want it running, you can just start here, start the server, and that would be all. That we have the Gemma working, and actually you can have also these endpoints, right? If you wanna work from your code or something. That's what I've been using for. Oh no, yeah, I feel like this will crash. Now let me close it.
So we can hear you, but your
Can you hear me? Can you still hear me?
yes, still hear you.
Cool. Sorry, yes, frozen of that. Uh, you how to get started, but always actually steps work recover my, and I can the last part on the projects. Oh, me?
Not clear. Glitching. Video frozen and your voice glitching. So yes, it can be heavy for your environment. So yes, be careful. And I think Leslie need to restart laptop. Sorry for this technical issue. Let's wait for a few moments for Leslie. Back and continue your excellent session. And meanwhile, feel free to use chat for asking questions. Abhishek, don't worry, I got your questions in direct message, and when Leslie finish, we will ask you. Normally, always speakers have QA session at the end of the talk. Uh, so it will be a place when we will ask your questions. And of course, thanks for your questions. Also, don't forget, feel free to use our chat for sharing your LinkedIn profiles. It's your place for network, find new friends. Yes, Ali, you are right. Yes, Gemma 4 can be fine-tuned. Maybe we will prepare one more time event about Gemma, and exactly maybe we will prepare, or maybe better hackathon or workshop, how to start from installation. But of course, online it's not easy to organize because you see, speaker can get technical issue and yes. Okay, so our fellow speaker back. I see. Okay,
Hi, I'm back.
yes, I
Sorry.
understand. It's okay.
I,
So let's
I
continue.
was saying like, oh my gosh, I was hoping now that I don't have many things open with LM Studio will work, but yeah, it's challenging, but
Yeah.
don't worry. Okay, so it's really cool. Thank you everyone for the time. And yeah, just to complete, as I was mentioned, local server, load the model where start crashing, then start, and I will give you the port. And actually, that's from the terminal. If you have the code, what I've been showing here is actually just to install Streamlit and start running the application, and that will give you this kind of interface, which is not that sophisticated, but is really useful to start, asking questions and getting responses only with this Gemma 4 models. Yeah, that's cool. Again, I'll go over the advantages, I'll go over the constraints as well, what are the challenges, and something to highlight here, it would be really cool on the to check the guardrails, which is actually building on this responsible side, right? Trying to have yourself these boundaries with the model. And what I was mentioning, actually, the idea will go to extend to agents. And it's not really a publicity here, but I want to share with you. We just released one of these short courses, and this one is really cool because we are working with AI coding workflows. We are going from having the endpoints to the cloud to start running local, and we use Gemma and DeepSeek. So it's really cool how you can understand all these workflows in terms actually how we do it normally, when just connecting to the cloud, and then how you can start using your computer as this server for having some local model, and even have other tools. Maybe you have heard about Open Router, which will let you get to different open models as well. So I think it's really cool, and give it a chance to start working on that. Um, yeah, next steps will be, for example, starting to plan what is your next agent, with actually taking into account this brain, which will build this local model. That's challenging, but I think that's part of the funny engineering part on this end. Well, just to finish here, it will be really cool to, to recall some keywords on this, to also understand what's going on with all these LLMs and agentics. That's mostly the idea here. And in this presentation, I also have some resources. I like Tarin is mentioning about these guides on fine-tuning in blogs. Just let me share this blog. I like writing in English under Dev 2, the technical dev, and also Google Experts. Um, Here you'll find a lot of blogs related to different projects, which I think are really inspiring as well to start your project. So here you have a bit more of information what I've been working on, and how you can also start testing yourself, because I believe this is really fun to try. And actually this was also inspired, and here are the credits, because I know uh, we're just getting inspired by each other. The credits are from this guy from Google that is using, that is running this local agent with Gemma 4 and Pi. So also it's really cool, and I really like how it goes step by step. If you just want to go straight to this blog, I found it super cool, and it's also giving you a little bit more of information, which sometimes is like a lot of theory on that, but at the same time to help you reason why are you choosing something. And yeah, same as I was trying to show you here with the LM Studio, and how to start the server. Oh, that was really useful. Even first time I was using this LM Studio as a local server, and then some configurations so not to die on, so your computer won't crash. Here are some more configurations and how to install Pi, and here also the credits for somebody. And finally, to work a little bit even with the skills, extensions, and that's it. So it's really cool, and I recommend it to give you a check on that, and also to check this. And don't forget, we have Google AI Studio, which is one of my favorite projects, and I believe I have mentioned before in another presentation. You have here the different options to actually find Gemma and start testing. We have this mixture of experts models, and also we have this flagship, the very big one, and check where the release dates and also the knowledge cutoff. So I think it's really cool to start testing these models also here as a part of this presentation. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for the invitation. And I really hope you enjoyed this build with Gemma. I don't know if there are some questions. We may have 5 more minutes. But yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn and also in other social media. I'm as Leslie Sandra. And thank you so much. And